Hello everybody, it is Jack here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and if you guys are looking for PTCGO codes, make sure you check out the Potown store where you can use the promo code OmniPoke for an extra 5% off your order. Today we're going to be taking a look at Cinccino Mill. It did really well over in Australia this past weekend. It's sort of the new control deck to come out of this set. We had Pidgeotto around Worlds, then we had Florges Dolls for Cosmic Eclipse, and now this looks like the latest iteration of kind of control Mill style archetypes. This one is a little bit different from things like Pidgeotto and Florges. It doesn't deny prizes too much, it does still have the dolls, but it's more about actually making your opponent run out of cards as opposed to sort of controlling their hand, controlling their energy. We do still have a couple of those elements in here, of course, but the overall strategy of the deck is to just mill your opponent's deck very quickly, essentially. The list is very similar to James Williams, who came top 4 after what happened in Australia. Meant that he was bumped up to top 4. He was the highest placing Cinccino Mill player, so congrats to him. This list is very close to his. It's actually two cards different. He played a Faber and a Chaotic Swell, and instead of the Faber and Swell, I'm playing a Wobbuffet and a third Fire Energy. There's a fair few different amount of cards you can play. I'm also playing these 3 Stealthy Hoods, so there are a couple of other changes, but the notable cards I'm lacking are Faber and Swell. They're copies of cards that I don't play at all. I do play the 3 Stealthy Hoods, basically respecting Ability Zard. Ability Zard is able to gust up your stuff and try and win that way, getting around your dolls, but you can kind of take a bit of a slower approach against Ability Zard and just have a few Pokemon down with hoods on them to try and win that way. Going into the list in a little bit more detail, we're running the 70 HP Minccino basically because it has more HP. You can use the attacks Glance and Tail Slap, but they're basically pretty much irrelevant. 4 of the Cinccino, of course, with the Make Do ability, obviously very similar to the Trade ability from Zoroark-GX, which was hugely successful. Make Do letting you discard a card from hand and then draw 2 cards, letting you mill your own deck basically to find your combos, and from there be able to do some pretty dirty stuff with like Surge, Double, Bellebla and Brycen-Man, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're running the full 4/4 line of the Cinccino, along with 1 Ditto Prism Star as well, kind of as a 5th in Minccino, but also as an out to Magcargo if we can't use Mewtwo. Magcargo basically in here for the Burning Magma attack, discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, means we can get our opponent down to 11 cards and then do an 11 card mill right at the end of the game, which is actually a lot of cards. So yeah, pretty scary. That's basically why we're running the Burning Magma Magcargo-GX, and similarly, just an easy way of being able to access that Magcargo without having to evolve is playing this one of Mew and Mewtwo. Running 2 Oranguru, pretty standard in these controlling archetypes, being able to resource some of these more important cards back. Things like hammers, dolls, pal pads, ordinary rods, all of these really important to get back. So just having access to a couple of these guys is really important. It's a lot different from the things like Pidgeotto, where you're going to be resource managementing pretty much every turn. You'll resource once, maybe twice in a game. Sometimes you won't even resource in a game. So yeah, it's very different, which is why we only need the 2 copies as opposed to 4 in some of these other controlling archetypes. We're running 3 Zacian Vs. Basically, this is because we're not attacking for the majority of the game. We will close the game with an attack with Burning Magma. We will sometimes resource management to get a couple of important cards back, but more than anything, we're just going to be passing. So instead of passing, let's draw 3 cards instead. Obviously, a little bit scary putting a 2-prizer down, but there's no real reliable gust other than Ninetales for Zacian. There's customs which are okay, but we're going to be milling a lot of our opponent's deck, so they're going to have we basically have very good outs to being able to stop them from getting custom catcher combos to be able to grab Zacian. Catcher is a flip card. Again, some people will be playing it, some people won't, but obviously that's on a flip, so it's not always the most reliable. And Ninetales is probably the scariest one, especially as we're also fire weak, so that deck's going to be able to ruin us, which is why I've decided to make space for 3 Stealthy Hoods to basically protect our Zacians and not lose that way. If we have a Zacian plus 2 Cincinos down, all with hoods, that means we basically have a draw of 7 per turn, and that's or 8 per turn technically with our draw for turn, which is enough cards to still be able to keep up with that matchup. We're able to give away a couple of prizes through Gurus and to be able to grab our dolls back. So I think with the hoods, we can actually take a slower approach in that matchup and still win, rather than having to get an absolute shed load of Cinccinos down, which you normally would just to try and make it for the fact that they're going to be taking a knockout on one every turn. We're able to go sort of a slower route, give up a couple of prizes with Orangurus instead of these Cincinos, to be able to find our dolls back again and really force them to go through a lot of these dolls and win that way. So yeah, we're running the Zacian to basically, that was a huge tangent from the Zacian, but we're running the Zacian basically to just draw 3 cards at the end of a turn rather than pass. Mew, again, pretty similar to the Stealthy Hoods. Mew protecting our bench, protecting our Cincinos, our Zacians, all of that good stuff. Protecting us from Naga Snipes and Pikarom, those are the 2 big ones. And finally, I'm playing the Wobbuffet with the Shady Tail ability. That means if it's on the bench, Prism Star Pokemon can't attack and have no abilities. Really, really good for Tapu Koko to slow the Pikarom matchup down, and really, really good for stopping Victini V from attacking. Sorry, Victini Prism Star from attacking, which is another hump in the Ability Zard matchup because they're able to just keep resetting their deck and putting a load of energy back in. This stops them from doing that, which is really, really important. You don't always have to have it down too early, but again, it's another really, really good hood target. If we're able to sort of draw through a fair amount of our deck early, we can drop the Wob later on, stick a hood on it, and basically their Victini is useless from there on out, which is really, really important. Energy-wise, 3 fire and 1 recycle. You could drop this to 2. 2 and 1, obviously James's list did run 2 and 1. I still like just having lots of outs just in case of awkward prize stuff. But that being said, you could quite easily drop this to 2. You can also play things like Heat Factory, and I think if you play Heat Factory, you can play the 3 and still get a little bit of extra draw, but it's not necessary. But that being said, just making sure you have a live out for when you do need to resource, because there are certain turns where you will need to. It's very important too. So yeah, definitely very nice to be able to have access to this energy, plus obviously recycle, basically acting as a pseudo switch because a lot of our Pokemon have 1 retreat, which is nice. Finally, onto the trainers. 4 crushing hammers, incredibly important to be able to try and get a crushing down on turn 1 against ADP Zacian. That's one of the harder matchups if they get their GX attack off. It's not auto loss, but it is a little bit awkward. But if we're able to get a crushing hammer heads off on the ADPs before they use their GX attack, that's really, really big for slowing them down by a turn, which buys us an extra turn of digging through our deck. Because they Intrepid Sword, it's not difficult to mill them. The more difficult part is the fact that they only have to take 3 knockouts before they, or 3 real knockouts before they win the game. So it's definitely very, very important to try and find these crushings early and hopefully get rid of some of the opponent's energy. Otherwise, it's just important for being able to get rid of energy throughout the game for annoying attackers that just keep sort of running through you. Definitely a good thing to keep in mind. These are the kind of things, basically hammers and dolls are some of the only things that you'll be resourcing back into the deck. Sometimes these other resource cards, but mainly the hammers and dolls are going to be what you want to try and help you disrupt in the mid-game whilst you're Belleblaing your opponent's deck. 4 Great Ball from Sword&Shield, this was reprinted. We can't use a supporter turn 1, so we can't do any of these supporters that search for Pokemon, so you just want access to as many different ball search cards as we can. So that's why we've gone for the full 4 Quick Ball and Great Ball. You can play things like Com as well, and you can play things like Evo Incense. Evo Incense obviously not searching for a basic though, so not quite as good, and Com already needing a Pokemon in hand. I've just decided to go for the 4/4 Quick Ball, Great Ball instead. Basically, not always reliable to get a basic from Great Ball, but just we have so many Pokemon, it should be getting us targets, which is really, really important. So yeah, that's why we've got the 4 Great Ball, and yeah, as I say, similarly the 4 Quick Ball just for searching out these basics as quickly as possible. 4 Dolls, again, staple card in any control matchup, in any control deck most of the time. being able to just stall your opponent for a turn is really, really important. With all the Fiona around as well, very important to try and get a doll down, or 2 dolls down, sorry. And yeah, it's just super important to be able to not lose to a Fiona gusting you every turn. So yeah, we're running the full 4 count, of course. 2 Ordinary Rod. This is basically one of the reasons why the deck works so well. Being able to mill your whole deck and then shuffle some cards back into the deck so you don't deck yourself next turn means we can still Oranguru to stop that, but we can also do this and leave a doll in the active. So it's kind of like Oranguruing without an Oranguru, which is really, really good. It means there's less prizes for our opponent to take easily, which is really important. Plus, it makes our discards so much easier. We don't need to worry about discarding energy, discarding Pokemon, because we can get it all back. So yeah, really, really good to have the rods. Similarly with Power Pads, basically the idea is to mill your own deck and then shove a couple of these supporters back in, mill it all again, then shove them back in, so you basically don't lose to decking yourself. I could see this going up to a 4 count, honestly. It's a really, really important card, but again, I've had to trim here and there to be able to find space for the hoods. The quick balls I've mentioned. Tag Call searches out the Mewtwo, kind of a niche use more than anything. We're going to want to be searching for Bellebla Brycen-Man and Cynthia and Caitlin. Cynthia and Caitlin is our only draw supporter, so very important to be able to search that early on in the game to start again drawing through our deck quite quickly. And yeah, just having the additional sort of combo of being able to grab the Mewtwo is very, very nice, especially when it comes to the late game. Maybe you've had to shuffle it back in with Rod, being able to just tutor it out is really, really nice. So yeah, obviously this kind of is another reason why the deck functions. Supporter-wise, the full 4 count of Bellebla Brycen-Man. We want to be able to surge Bellebla Brycen basically every turn when it comes to sort of the mid to late game. So having the full 4 count is really, really important. Also means our Power Pads are a little bit less awkward. We're able to sometimes just search for surges and that kind of thing with Power Pad. So yeah, just having the full 4 count to always have access to them, really, really important. Similarly, Cinlin, being able to draw 3 in the early game is pretty good, and also get a Bellebla Brycen-Man back. You're able to discard these with things like Quick Ball pretty happily, knowing that you can get them back from Cinlin later on. So yeah, basically, as always, it's a better hop. It's at least a hop, but sometimes gets a supporter for next turn. Similarly with Surge. And finally, obviously, Surge is the big combo card, letting you play 3 supporters in a turn, letting you mill 6 per turn from your opponent's deck. It does not take long for that to mount up, especially with the amount they have to draw, or they're going to be drawing anyway. Yeah, it really mounts up quite quickly. Finally, onto the tools, you're running 2 Air Balloon, just so we have free retreat on basically everything in the deck. Absol makes a couple of things a little bit more awkward, but a Air Balloon on a few of our basics will give us free retreat at all times, and if there's no Absol, it gives us free retreat all of the time because everything has 2 retreat or less. And finally, as I say, I've gone for the 3 hoods. You can definitely cut these 3 hoods, basically add another Power Pad, another Ball Search card, maybe a Com or an Evo Incense, and some lists are running things like Faber, like I say, things like Chaotic Swell. But basically, I want to respect Ability Zard. I think that's one of the hardest matchups, so having the 3 hoods plus the Wobbuffet should mean we have a fairly good time in that matchup as well. Other than that, you can play a couple of quirky things. Someone played Aerodactyl? Yeah, it was Aerodactyl in their list, and 1 Rainbow instead of one of these Fire Energies, which is really, really good for knocking out Mewtwo's. So basically, one thing that the deck can lose to is your opponent's Stinger, and then using Blown, the Baby Blacephalon Fireworks Bomb against you. With this, you're able to respond on the turn that they Stinger, because you can attach a Rainbow Energy to a Mewtwo, discard the Aerodactyl, and use Aerodactyl's GX attack to knock out the opposing Mewtwo. It is a bit awkward though, because all of the Mewtwo lists are running Weak Guard right now, so it means you kind of have to then play Faber or Enerporter or something like that to then be able to get over the Weak Guard, and that's where I think it gets a little bit more complicated. You have to run 3 cards for one matchup or 3 cards for another matchup, but this is way more sort of streamlined, way more simple. You just have to attach the hoods and they're there for game, whereas you have to build this combo in hand. and if they're able to do something like stamp you on the turn that they stinger you and that kind of thing, because you've got a big hand, so they want to try and disrupt these combos, it can sometimes be very difficult to be able to find the response on the Mewtwo. So basically, I've decided to tech for Ability Zard, not Mewtwo. I think both are worth thinking about teching for, and I could see you teching for one and not the other. But I've decided to go for the Ability Zard and just try and, I guess, dodge the Mewtwo's and hit the Ability Zards instead of dodge the Ability Zards and hit the Mewtwo's. I tried teching for both for a while. Basically impossible. The deck becomes way too inconsistent. You have to cut too many important cards to be able to tech for Mewtwo and Ability Zard, Firebox. The other thing is, obviously, every single Ability Zard Firebox list plays Ninetales. Not all of the Mewtwo lists necessarily play the Stinger Blown package. Obviously, the one that won this weekend did, Nico's did. And it's likely that his list going forward will be the list that a lot of people play. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's not like that's not a guarantee. So that doesn't necessarily mean every Mewtwo you play against will have this Stinger Blown package, and if they don't, then you're teching for nothing really, whereas every Firebox you hit will run Ninetales. So that was my mindset, at least. I'd rather tech for one. You can only tech for one, so I'd rather tech for that one, I think. We've got a fairly okay hand. We can only get one Minccino down, but we do already have a Cinccino, which is really good. Plus we have 2 Dolls, which is very, very nice. Hit the Wob. It looks like they're a fire deck, but I'm not going to drop the Wob just yet. Okay, this may happen a lot because people don't like stall. But I'm going to try and get some actual gameplay for you guys rather than just concessions. I played Pidgeotto a lot when it was in the peak of it doing well. And I think it's a very, very important archetype to test and test against because it uses a different win condition, and using that different win condition can improve your gameplay in more than just playing the deck itself. It can mean you're actually better at beating the deck because you know how to react, have a better idea of what they're going to do, that kind of thing. But also, it means you can see lines that you normally wouldn't be able to see, perhaps, in games around milling and control style archetypes. Looks like this might be Handlock. Yeah, I think this is Mewtwo, Mally Mewtwo. Means you can see lines sort of that you perhaps normally wouldn't be able to see, which is very, very important, I think. So yeah, these decks aren't always nice, and I know a lot of people don't like to play against them and don't like their existence in the format, but I think it is important to have them in the format because they introduce different types of sort of win conditions, which is very, very important, I think. Looks like they're going for the Trèfle Noir route. Marnie Nightwatch is a bit scary for the deck in the early turns, but in the late turns we should have a fairly strong board of Cincinos down, so it shouldn't matter too much. We should be able to draw out of a lot of these scenarios. Kicking things off with a Great Ball, finding us a basic, not the one we want unfortunately, but that's okay. Grabbing us another basic so we don't lose is just as important as grabbing us a basic, just as important as grabbing us any other basic. We are going to get a free Minccino with this Great Ball as well. Sorry, this Quick Ball as well. Hopefully this hammers a heads. It's not, unfortunately. I'm going to attach this balloon now in case he goes for the Pale... Is it Pale Moon-GX? I think it's Pale Moon-GX, yeah. And then we're just going to go for the Intrepid Sword. Don't hit too much, but we do already have a Cinccino for next turn, which is good. We can start drawing through the deck. We have 2 Cincinos in case he's able to go for the Nightwatch as well. Gives us an extra out to be able to not get ruined by Nightwatch. So yeah, like I say, these decks aren't always nice. These decks aren't always fun to play against. But I think they're important to learn things within the matchup, learn things within the game. Sorry, different win conditions, different lines, that kind of thing. Gonna go for the Night Watch by the looks of it. So as long as we don't lose both Cinccinos, we should be okay. We didn't lose both Cinccinos, which is great. We hit a doll, which is also great. I'm going to ditch this pal pad to begin with. Hopefully we can find some ball search. This is fine. Probably going to have to... Might have to ditch this doll and feed him the Oranguru. They do have sniping, so this Zacian is never really going to be safe anyway. But we can find a Mew later on. So let's ditch this doll, give him the Guru. And hopefully we can find Mew later on down the line. Go for the Great Ball as well. We can alternatively grab another Zacian. Or we can just grab the Mew now. Let's grab the Mew now. It's not possible for him to snipe next turn, so I'm just going to feed him the Guru. Hold the Mew for this turn, I think. Because I still ideally want a Minccino and a doll down here. So we don't want to put the Mew down yet. And draw some more cards. Do hit the Surge, which is nice. That means we can hopefully Surge double supporter next turn. We can Surge Pal Pad before we do anything, so then we can start drawing into the extra supporters, which should be nice. They're already down to 29 cards as well. They've Magnolia'd and Dedena'd this game, so that's 13 cards we haven't had to mill, which is very, very nice. And they haven't taken a prize yet. So there goes the Ultra Necrozma. That's two pretty good cards that we didn't really want to see go. Not ideal. Okay, let's kick things off with a Make Do. This way we dig deeper with the Great Ball. We can already... we can also shuffle in, but we don't really want to do that. So let's go for the Great Ball this turn. We miss the second Cinccino, which is kind of unfortunate. I am still going to Brycen-Man, basically because we have recovery in Ordinary Rod already, so... See what we discarded. Fun fact, you can check Stacked View to see what you discard. We discarded some pretty bad cards there. The Cinccino was in there. Do we want to shuffle the Cinccino in this turn? I think we probably do. So I'm going to do that now. I'm also going to shuffle the energy back in. And I'll get the Guru back as well, because we might have to Guru this game. And then I'm going to feed him the Wobbuffet. I think Wobbuffet's the correct thing to feed. So we can keep building our hand. Hopefully we get to keep this Cinccino this time. We are going to need to get these dolls back at some point though. So that's what we're scared about. They did get the Naga down. So I think this turn we probably have to put the Mew down. Because they look like they're building up for a Naga attack. Don't think they can get it this turn because they've already recharged plus attached. So we've got to remember to play around Horror House. We should always be able to play around Horror House, but Horror House can make us draw up to 7, and then if we only have 2 cards, if we only have 7 cards between hand and deck, we can actually lose that way. So we have to keep an eye out for that. Just make sure we have at least 8 cards between hand and deck at all times. Don't get rid of the Cinccino. Well, that's not ideal, but it's okay. We can carry on. First things first, I'm going to grab a Minccino. I think we're going to need 3 this game because we still have 29 cards in deck, which is a pretty large amount. I'm going to go for this Make Do. Hopefully we hit another Cinccino. We hit a Cinlin, that's better than nothing. Gonna have to discard the Quick Ball here, I think. Do get a Bellebla Brycen-Man back. We do hit a doll as well, that's really important. Go for this hammer. We do hit the hammer, so we're going to be able to hopefully maybe earn an extra turn. And then we're going to Intrepid Sword. Hit another Cinccino. Hopefully this one doesn't get shuffled in. We will get one. Should have another energy. Okay, they have a switch, so Tate and Liza. They're using a lot of draw supporters. They really just needed to move into the Mewtwo and just attack with Mewtwo that turn. They really didn't need to use that. They're like all of these cards they're using, they really don't need to use. This is a lot of this is what a lot of people do against Mill. They use their cards because they see their cards, but you don't need to use your cards. You just need to constantly be applying pressure. And a lot of the time, that will get you through the game. There's an Absol. Absol is kind of annoying, to be honest. See what they go for here. Really should put the Absol down. The Absol would be very, very annoying for me because I'd like to Guru this turn if I can. But if they put the Absol down, then I won't be able to because the Zacian will be locked active. Or whatever I put will be locked active because I won't be able to attach energy as well. My other balloon is in the bin, so didn't put the Absol down, which is really, really good for us. But the energy goes, oh no. You can start to see why Nightwatch is a pretty good attack against this kind of deck. Okay, so we do hit double Cinccino, so we are in full swing now. Going to start milling through the deck. They have 21 cards to mill and 4 prizes to take. This quick ball being guaranteed. Will be a guaranteed Guru, so we can discard the Great Ball with a Make Do. We want to tag call. Oh, there's no targets left. We have 3. Oh, we've gone through it all. Okay, that was basically a free Cinccino wasted, but oh no, we just have bad prizes. Incredible. Okay. Okay, we hit the Guru. That's really good. We really want to hit energy this turn. Didn't hit energy, but we did hit a doll. Or we can still get rid of some more cards. Got rid of another. This is really unfortunate. We're getting rid of some pretty awkward cards. We're gonna have to almost certainly Guru next turn. So this is our last doll. We could give them this Zacian here. That's the other consideration. Give them the Zacian. Or give them a Cinccino. Hmm. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We'd have 4 cards left in deck. At least 1 energy. I think we actually give them a Cinccino here. An Intrepid Sword. Because, like I say, I can't... If they put the Absol down, now I know they have the Absol, it's actually... I have to kind of play around it. If they didn't have the Absol, then this would be completely fine. Okay, they do play the Absol down, so we were right to play around the Absol. There goes the energy again. We will get this energy into our hand. Okay, there's a power pad. That's really, really good. That means we can shuffle 2 power pads. And like a doll into the deck. Except we can't because we... Okay. So I could have got 2 Cinlins back there. Maybe I should have got 2 Cinlins back there because then draw outs. Yeah, okay, I probably should have done that. So now we have a free retreater technically, so it's still fine. So they're going to go down to 2. If they play like Catcher, we're kind of screwed. They're building up a lot of energy. Are they going for... They might be going for SBDO. Could be going for an SBDO play. If they play SBDO, then we do just lose. Not many lists play SBDO, though, so I'm not going to play around SBDO. I've seen very few lists playing it. I think we definitely screwed up, but they were the perfect 2 cards to get there, which is very good. So if I discard 6, I'll have 1, 2, I won't have enough cards in deck, so I would lose to Horror House. So I'm not gonna discard 6 this turn. I can discard 3 though, right? And then put 3, and then put Doll. And I put Rod, Doll, and Power Pad back. Right? Because then we can double Doll. Yeah. So then we go Doll, Rod, Power Pad. So they take a prize here. We send up whatever, draw our entire deck. Attach, pass. No, it should be the Rod. Okay, I think this is right. We don't draw our entire deck. I might have got that wrong. I put the Rod on the bottom, didn't I? The Rod can't be on the bottom, and I think I put the Rod on the bottom. So now we have to Power Pad a card in. Oh no, I think we still guarantee it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, but we needed the... Oh, oh, it shuffles the deck. Actually, okay, this might be fine. This might be fine. It doesn't matter what we put up because everything has 2 retreat. Oh, everything has 2 retreat, so we should put one of these up because these have 1 retreat. That's correct. Okay, we high rolled and weren't punished. So we just need the Mewtwo. They should be getting another... No, we shouldn't get... We need to guarantee hitting this. Fire energy. So we shouldn't get another card. We should maximize our odds. I wonder if it's actually better to... No, it can't be better to do that. So we missed fire energy, so we lost, right? We could have... My thought was we could have Babellaed and discarded 3 and dug further, but there's no knowing what the 3 cards will be, so... Okay, pretty sure we lost. Yeah, yeah, we lost. Okay, I think... I think we definitely could have won that game. I think we kind of got screwed by Nightwatch a lot because they got rid of the Cinccino outs like 4 turns in a row. I think that game was definitely winnable. That's a shame. Not like too tilting, but I think that game was winnable. Ah, Stefan. This is Mr. Ivanov. Let's see if we can mill Mr. Ivanov. Pretty terrible hand, unfortunately. Very terrible hand, unfortunately. There was Fairy in his build, so you probably can go for a Mimikyu play to try and resource management himself. So maybe we can't resource in this matchup, just to avoid getting copycatted. Thinking back to that Mewtwo&Mew game, I screwed up the ordering of. I definitely screwed up the ordering of one of the. Guru turns, definitely. But hey. Okay. Playing the spinners and the air balloon, interesting. And a Dennying as well. That's super interesting. And playing E-Switch. E-Switch is a bit scary for this deck. Here's another E-Switch. We are in trouble. Gone for the Marnie. That's really good for us. Our hand was abysmal. Our hand just got great. And he didn't hit E-Switch. Very, very good. Okay. So we can't do much, but we can Intrepid Sword, which is probably enough. Looks like we're not going to be able to deal with the GX attack, which is kind of sad. But like I say, we can Intrepid Sword. We do have Mewtwo and Magcargo as well. Can do this so I can attach Retreat, and then we can go for the sword. Grab 2 thinning cards, which is really, really good for our Cinccino outs next turn. I have multiple Pokemon that can retreat. He has a big hand, which is kind of scary, but Saucers are one of the only cards I'm kind of scared of now. Goes for the Altered Creation for the full effect. And it is our turn. So we're going to grab all of this stuff. Start by discarding these Brycen-Mans because we can grab them back with Sinlin. Have Fire Energy Mewtwo. I think I want to hold on to those. Do you want to get a third? Minccino out? I think we do. But I think I want to draw first. I'm actually going to ditch this Mewtwo now. Hit the Cinccino, that's really good. Get a third Minccino. So we kind of want him to take a prize, honestly, because it's going to speed up our whole game if we take a prize. So I might actually feed him something this turn and save the dolls for when I can... Okay, maybe he's going for, he's going for the Whirlpool section this turn, which is actually really good for us. Because it means we can start Surge double looping, which is really, really big. And we have a second doll to basically now never have to sort of get